What's up, fam? Thank y'all for tuning in once again to the Growth Network, where we grassroots our wealth, tradition, and heritage. As always, be sure to like, share, subscribe, and comment. And when you do subscribe, hit the notification bell so every time I drop a video, you will be the first to be notified. Today, I want to bring a story out of 11alive.com, and it's entitled Young Thug Faces 7 New Felony Charges Outside a RICO Case. Denied bond, new details in hearing. Now, if you haven't known, this past week, Young Thug was arrested and charged with pretty much running a criminal enterprise. Charged with like theft, murder, having enough drugs to intent to distribute, all this kind of stuff. And there's been a lot of videos and stuff on that, and I'll touch on that in a minute, but I want to touch on these 7 new felony charges because this, again, kind of reiterates on a video that I did previously that's telling you how that we need to stay out of the wrong side of the law. Because just because you think you committed a crime, I guess you call it a crime or break the law, whatever, and you think it's something small, it can multiply into multiple different charges just off of one thing you did. So don't think that you can sit there and threaten somebody, get mad and threaten to kill somebody. They could probably find conspiracy to threatening, terrorist threats, conspiracy to commit murder, threatening to commit murder. I mean, they could give like 3 or 4 charges out of it easy, and some of them may not stick, but the goal is to make sure at least one stick, if not all 4, or if not all the charges that they bring to you. But anyway, let's get into the story, and like I said, we're gonna touch on the RICO charges, and let's get a clearer understanding on this. So it says, in a Fulton County court appearance, several new details came into clarity in the sweeping legal tangle he now faces. Rapper Young Thug is facing 7 new felony charges in a case that is, for now, a second and separate one outside of the Young Slime Life gang RICO case he was arrested for earlier this week, and was denied bond in the case on Wednesday night. See, it says that for now, because I think they're going to try to put it all together, encompassing into one big trial. In the Fulton County court appearance, 7 new details came up in the sweeping legal tangle he now faces. The attorney for Young Thug, legal name Jeffrey Williams, strongly maintains the rapper's innocence, saying in the hearing that he does not agree that he is responsible for any type of crime. Here are the key things to know after Wednesday's court proceeding. New charges. He highlights saying his 14-year-old son was home with him when he was arrested. He said this is a second case for now. The hearing revealed that these charges were added after a search of Young Thug's home after his arrest Monday. That arrest was made on the indictment that alleges he is a founder and leader of the Young Slime Life gang and oversaw crimes as serious as murder as a organizer, supervisor, or other position of management or leadership of the gang. Now, like I said, RICO is basically stating that you're running a criminal enterprise, but what they want to be able to do is to get everyone that you're associated with and charge them with something. One, hoping they can get everybody, have everybody go to jail. At the least, one person, they can find one person who'll crack under pressure and snitch on everybody. And with a 10-year investigation, I'm sure they feel they got enough evidence to get somebody, and somebody's gonna go down for that 20, if not for life. Let's say the case will be folded into the RICO indictment. It's not clear if the Fulton County DA's office will try to do that. The prosecutor said that decision has not been made yet. The RICO case will have to be reindicted to incorporate the new charges. So these are the charges, the new 7 charges. Say possession of marijuana with the intent to distribute, which means he must have had a whole lot of marijuana in his house. Violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act, possession of a Schedule 3, 4, or 5 controlled substance with intent to distribute. possession of firearm during commission of a felony, possession of a sawed-off shotgun, sawed-off rifle, machine gun, dangerous weapon, or silencer. See, like 3 and 4 could be put together. Unlawful for a person employed by associated with criminal street gang to conduct or participate in criminal activity. Unlawful for a person employed by or associated with criminal street gang to conduct or participate in criminal activity. Unlawful for a person employed by associated with criminal street gang to conduct, participate in criminal activities. Yes, those are 3 separate indictments that have the exact same sentence. So, the prosecutor explains the basis for some of the charges. He said the search of Young Thug's home turned up a large quantity of drugs, which would appear to account for the first 2 of the new charges. Several firearms accounted for the 3rd charge, and a kind of automatic switch to turn his firearm into an automatic machine gun, which would appear to account for the 4th charge. The last 3 new charges are tacked on enhancement on the previous 4 as part of anti-gang laws in Georgia. So see, you can have 1 gun, and let's say you had a pound of weed or a kilo. I don't know how they selling this stuff these days, but let's say you have enough to where it counts as a felony. Let's say 2 items. So you can have multiple, but let's say you just had 2 items and in your possession, and those 2 items created 7 felony charges. Not just like I said, not just 1 charge or 2 charges or something you can get thrown out, because laws change, and that's the thing about it. I stated in the previous video, they change laws to benefit them. In the beginning, before they started the whole RICO thing, the one thing they was getting the mob on, trying to get them on like tax evasion, because they couldn't catch them, in the act of committing crimes. They knew these cats were like running the mob and had these underlings doing their bidding, but they couldn't catch the top dog. So what they had to do is use tax evasion laws. And then at the time, a lot of times the sentences for the underlings in the organization was so small and minute that these organizations could still keep making money and still helping to support the person who went to jail's family for like 2, 3, 5 years, something like that. People say, oh man, I do the time. But then laws changed where something that used to be 3 years might be a mandatory 10 years. It's 10 years, might be a mandatory quarter. Something that was 25 might be a mandatory life. So it changed the game to where a lot of people started, as they would say, snitching on each other. And you can call it snitching when you are in that life, and then you tell on your fellow conspirators. So, that's how the law changes. So like this, used to be maybe this was like only maybe 1 or 2 charges, but now, like I said, you got seven charges out of this, which is crazy. So the judge found he was a flight risk, a risk to interfere in a larger RICO case if he were released, and a risk to commit more felonies if released. The judge said he agrees with the state's argument against bond, and also specifically cited a 4-year-old drug case in DeKalb County remains outstanding, knowing that the charges from that case are in the same charges alleged children. That's amazing. That's another slick way that they can get you and just piling up on charges. I think he had possession like marijuana, cocaine, and methamphetamines. No, hydrocodone, marijuana, hydrocodone, and methamphetamines. And that's charged stemmed from 4 years ago. And they hadn't charged him, hadn't taken him to court, hadn't sentenced him or anything. That right there would have made, would have raised a red flag. Because one, first thing people gonna think is, how you gonna get these charges and not do no time? You must be working for the feds. You get it? But that's the first thing you would think. But then when you read this, you kind of realize that maybe they were just holding on to that because maybe they had a bigger investigation going on and they didn't want it to jeopardize that investigation. So they just held on to it, gave whatever excuses to not charge him, while he's still paying his lawyer, he probably still paying court fees and stuff like that all the time on this, still coming out of pocket for these charges. They're just using that stuff to build a case on them. So again, like I said, when you think that they ain't looking at you and they ain't coming after you, man, look at her. I feel like this, her. If you commit a crime nowadays, a lot of time I think you gotta be, you can't be too bright, because there's cameras everywhere. The electronic devices, there's cameras and recorders everywhere. And you carry it with you all the time. They can sit here and say that they can't listen to you unless they got a warrant, unless they got your permission. But if you've been arrested on felony counts of like I say, marijuana, methamphetamines, and whatever, now whatever you have that's in your possession, that's free game. It's open game now. They can put a warrant out on your stuff and have a listening device on your electronics all they want, because now they got probable cause. It said Young Thug's attorney asked the judge to reconsider. He argued a rapper isn't a flight risk because he has a substantial ties to the Atlanta area and that there is not a scintilla of evidence that he has done anything to try to obstruct justice or try to hinder people from turning themselves in or being arrested. He described his client as like the Babe Ruth of the musical industry, describing how he traveled around the world. Well, see, there you go. That's why I say you're a flight risk. You travel around the world and performed in front of massive audiences. He also offered to take custody of the rapper's passport and suggested he could wear an ankle monitor. The judge felt he was a flight risk. The judge declined. He said he had a lot of support outside the state of Georgia. It might be hard to get him back in the state. That is right. It is not yet clear what the next step of his case when it will occur. The rapper will now likely have to wait on a preliminary hearing next in this new case, which in the RICO indictment, his lawyer said Wednesday that they are still waiting for a date for a bond hearing. Now, I know what I want to say is, like I said, I don't want to hear people saying that, he got set up, somebody snitched on him. I mean, if this stuff is true, okay, it's all alleged. Somebody snitched on him, that, the white man tried to get him because he's young, black, and rich, which could be possible because, you're making all this money off of Spotify. You got 28 million streams. I mean, you're making about $1 million a year, which is like peanuts compared to what's being put out there. But you're still making millions off of that. You're doing shows, making tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands off of shows, off of doing appearances doing appearances like on other people's music. So, you're making big money. You're making big money. And if you're doing it by yourself without a distributor or a major record label, you're gonna get some people that's gonna be like, look, we gotta shut these young rappers down because they're becoming too independent. I mean, just think about it. You saw how back in the 90s, and y'all always gotta, study your history of anything you do, especially in this music business. Because if you look in the history, you can go back to like the 90s when you had Rap-A-Lot records, Death Row records, Murder Inc. records. The feds were going after them hard, even No Limit for a minute. They was going after these guys hard because the thing they was trying to do is see if they was part of a criminal enterprise. And they tried to get people to wear wires on them, like I say, rat them out, all kind of stuff. Had all kind of diamonds on these record labels, all because these guys were independent. Yes, they had other distributors, but the bulk of the money, they was making big money off the music they was making. They can make any kind of music they want, and no one could tell them nothing, especially at Master P. So now, I mean, you can even go back further than that to like Sam Cooke, James Brown, cats like that was independent record label, own their own masters of their music. And Sam Cooke, got murdered. Still don't know what happened to him. James Brown, a guy who they said wouldn't drink, wouldn't do drugs or anything like that. somehow got older, became supposedly quote unquote a drug addict, but this dude owned all his masters, made all his money. This cat had record labels. This cat had distribution center. This dude had the first black man with a jet. I mean, it's just funny how these brothers got taken down, even like Michael Jackson and Prince. Very vocal about owning your own masters, not these record labels or treating these artists like slaves. But then people are like, oh, y'all make so much money, how you call yourself slaves? You missing the point. If it's my money, if it's my music, if I'm writing the song, making the music, putting all the work in, I should get the bulk of the revenue, especially if I'm, like Michael Jackson or Prince, and you know that what you put out is gonna sell, and you got a fan base of millions worldwide. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing really the record label has to do to make them famous, because they are already famous. You get what I'm saying? So, yeah. Could they be trying to shut down, like say the rap game? Yeah, I mean it's possible. I mean, but I won't put it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna put too much on that. But back to my point. If I feel like this. If you are not going to school to be a lawyer, or if you're not grooming your kids to go to school to become a lawyer, or to be in law enforcement, period. Also, if you're not running for a city council, a state representative, a member of Congress, president for that matter. If you're not voting, if you're not educating yourself on candidates that are running for election, if you're not educating yourself on these candidates and voting for the person that's going to bring you tangibles as a person and as a people, and if you're not raising money to fund campaigns for certain, like I say, people that are running for public office, then to me personally, you really don't have an argument. You shouldn't have a complaint, because if you're not doing nothing, you shouldn't be saying nothing. And that's just bottom line. So you can holler conspiracy theories all you want to. You can get mad at how the system is ran, how they, like I say, change laws to fit their narrative to make sure you go to jail and stay in jail. I mean, what was this other day? They shot to Tariq Nasheed, showed this article where in Alabama, 28 people was up for parole or probation or what have you, and the judge denied them all, including the dude that's been doing like 20 years for a marijuana charge. It's like, what? But we gotta learn, so we gotta do better. We gotta learn the system better. We can't hide from it. Again, it can be something as simple as a traffic ticket, $50, $75, whatever, maybe $100. I don't know how much traffic tickets are now. I ain't got one in a couple years. But something as simple as a traffic ticket, less than $200 can turn to damn near $2,000 if you just don't do anything about it, don't understand how to work the system. Like I said, don't understand, don't understand, don't realize that, in some circumstances, some instances, you don't have to pay a debt back. I mean, you don't have to, you do that, you should pay your debts. I'm sorry, don't let me say it like that. That you can't go to jail for owning a debt, but you can go to jail with an arrest warrant for like failure to appear, or a failure to, do what the court tell you to do. I don't know the legal term of that, but you can go to jail for that. But as for the debt, it's like you can't go to jail because let's say the judge said you got to pay. So you go to credit card, go to court, and they say you got to pay this $1,000 credit card. Get out, you don't pay it. You get a court order to pay the $1,000. You get out, don't pay it. Now, the credit card company said, hey, he ain't paid this, I need to be arrested. You can't be arrested for owning a debt, but you can be arrested for not abiding by the court, not following the court order. See what I'm saying? You're like, well, that's the court order was too. Don't matter what the court order was for you to do. You didn't do what the court said you need to do. So there's a fine for that. You know, there's a penalty for that. You know, when you get out, you still owe the money. Like I said, you ain't got to pay it, but you still owe the money. But then you mess around and don't pay it, same thing that happened. That jail time is not going to take off none of your not going to help you alleviate none of your financial issue. You know, the financial part of your settlement or whatever. It's not going to do that. But anyway, like I was saying, you got to get more involved on the other side of the law. You got to understand the law. This law, I mean, if we're going to continue to live in this country and we see how things are going, I mean, everybody's getting mad about the whole Ukraine and, you know, Biden is steadily sending money over there. You know, you looking for, you know, locally we need more money for schools and for low-income people, you know, helping with the student loan debt, all that kind of stuff to help their own country raise a minimum wage so people can have a livable wage. Talk about it, but they're not raising it, and supposedly we have no money, no funds, no resources to help the people of this country. But yet you have $40 billion plus another $10 billion and all this kind of stuff to send overseas for a war that's not even on your soil. For what reason? I don't know. You know, so what reason? I don't know. It's probably, like I said, it's gonna be something way bigger than us that we don't know, that we don't understand. But with that being said, like I said, this is why we got to pay attention to what's going on in the world. You know, it's worldwide. Anything that involves our country, you got to pay attention to it. And like I say, the laws, they're going to change laws so that they can always stay ahead, so they can always stay on top. So you understand it, you can be right alongside with them to try to. You can, if you don't, like I said, if you don't get involved with the stuff, any laws they come up with, they'll easily pass. But you got to get involved with this stuff. You can't sit back and do nothing and then get mad when they come up with these RICO charges. Again, you stay on the right side of the law. You know what I'm saying? You need to keep I understand. A lot of times there are circumstances that keep you from doing it. Like I say, there's a lot of jobs that ain't paying a whole lot of good money. But shoot, this goes back to another previous video I said about coming to a time where it seems like a lot of families that don't split up, that moved out, want to hurry move out the house, don't kick the kids the house, and all that kind of crap. It's trying to bring them all back in. Because financially, they're going to starve you out. Financially, you will not, if this keeps up, this inflation keeps up the way it is, where they're saying you need an extra $400-500 a month to survive off of what you lived off of a month ago, of last year or what have you. If this keeps up, you have no choice but to move back in with each other, which could be a good thing, because maybe that'll bring back to family structure like it needs to be, and everybody not trying to be, you know, individuals. Do this thing as a family where we can all be together, save money, raise money, you know, and help each other pay bills, help each other go to school, help each other get, you know, buy land, buy acres of land, so like the whole family can live, you know, off these acres, build houses on these acres and stuff like that. This just might, we talked about it for years, and for some reason, it seems like a lot of us don't want to do it because we're comfortable. We've been comfortable for about 20, 30 years, I say. I don't know. I mean, I'm only like 40, 45, so I know maybe I can live last 30 years. We've been comfortable. But now things are getting hard, so now it's like, gotta make a change. Anyway, that's a whole nother video. Let me end this one. Hey, I hate to see a young brother get caught up in the system. But my issue is, dude, if you making millions of dollars, you know, you're doing these videos talking about policing issues we have in the country, the killing Mike Brown, ain't your problem because you out here, you iced up, making money, rich, having fun. You know, got all these females. Well, you know, I mean, ain't much I can say about that statement. But if you got all this money, then there's really no reason why you should even be, these charges shouldn't even be brought up. Even if they false, there should be no, ain't nobody finna arrest me for RICO, racketeering, distribution, committing crimes, renting cars, and then somebody else going, because somebody else committed a murder in the car you rented. I mean, come on, man. These people, these police, they've seen this stuff forever. They know how the game goes. You're not gonna outsmart these people. These people create the laws. Matter of fact, a lot of them create the crimes that you are committing. So if you think that you just that you think you one step ahead of them people, man, you, like I said, you ain't too bright. You're just a reincarnation of what can't get right or what have you. But anyway, let me get out of here. Like I said, I hate to see a young brother go down for this, for any kind of crime. I just hope this is a wake-up call for all the cats that's rapping out here, you know, because they're gonna come get you too. And hey, like I say, everybody ain't rappers, but for all you NBA players, all you NFL players, you college, high school, college, professional ball players, and y'all be out here on national TV, worldwide TV, throwing up these gang signs in the middle of games. Like, you know, like them folk don't know what you're doing, but we know what you're doing. And they can read, you know, so them folk can see the gang signs, read the gang signs. All they gotta do is watch tape of you, look at films of gangs, then they'll see where you come from. They'll see the neighborhoods you grew up in, and then they'll contact them gang units and they'll be like, hey, yeah, that sign is, that he throwing up, that's this such and such gang. That's the sign that he throwing up, that's a rival gang, such and such gang. This is they wear blue, they wear red, they wear black, gold, whatever, green. They've done this, and this. If they go in and RICO the people of that gang that you throwing up, it's a good possibility, Mr. Basketball player, Mr. Getting out the hood person, or bring all my boys with me. It's a good possibility they can come and get you too. And you be indicted on a RICO charge. And you think they can't get you just because you throwing up games, but they watching, man. They watching. Because if the person in the neighborhood, let's say, get hit, get caught, man, you know what? I mean, it's like this, 2 words. Michael Vick. Look it up. Watch those videos. Watch the documentary on Michael Vick and what he went through and how he got, and how he went to jail when he didn't, you know, they had no evidence of him fighting dogs. But it all started because a family member of his got caught, I believe, with drugs in the car. In the car, I think that Michael Vick either owned or rented. You see what I'm saying? And it got back to, they found out about dogs. So again, look that up. But with that being said, hey, I'm out of here. Thank y'all for tuning in. Hey, again, like the video, share it, comment, definitely comment and subscribe. And with that being said, I'll leave y'all in peace, and I'll see you on the other side.